A very special welcome to Byte-sized Info from Tropical Bytes. Besides the intro video, this is our very first edition, and like all first bytes, the very sweetest. So let's get into equipping you for excellence and success by sharing some knowledge. Today's Byte-sized Info is on the Avo flower, how it looks, behaves, and is fertilized. Most of our content throughout Tropical Bytes is based on what we learn from farmers, but I found that very few Avo farmers know a lot about the flowering behavior of their trees, so it took some research and observation. I also explored the topic with one of the industry's experts and relayed that in the first story on Avos published in January 2023. It's called Avos 101. Go to the Tropical Bytes website and find the link to this story on the JAF Stories page. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you of the opportunity to advertise. All the Tropical Bytes advertising opportunities are clearly presented on the website if you're keen to target South Africa's best farmers. If you choose to advertise in Byte-sized Info, this is where your ad will appear. Back to Avo Flowers. The first point of interest is that avos are complete in that they have both male and female parts in all their flowers. As such, they could self-pollinate, but nature prefers cross-pollination, simply because genetic diversity results in stronger offspring. And so she tweaked the Avo flower's behavior to limit the chance of self-pollination happening. This tweak is a characteristic known as protogynous dichogamy. That's a mouthful, so let's pick it up. First, the noun. Dichogamy is a botanical term used when the male and female parts of a flower ripen at different times. The adjective is protogynous, and this term is used to describe the maturation of female parts before male parts. It can apply to both plants and animals. So let's leave the fancy terms alone and get clear on the simple stuff. Avos have complete flowers with both male and female parts. They start with mature female parts and then morph into the male phase over a period of 2 days, and then they're done. Yep, that's right, an Avo flower only lasts for 2 days. They do this a little differently depending on whether they are A or B type cultivars. It's simple really. A type and B types differ in when, morning or afternoon, they open as either male or female. Cultivars are either A or B. For example, Hass avos are A type, while Fuertes are B type. And because orchards are generally made up of a single cultivar and clones of closely related mother material, it means that an entire orchard will generally be either male or female on one day, and then male or female on the next day. Can you feel the way the suspense is building, or was it just me thinking that I had happened across a huge oversight in the entire Avo industry? Bold in my naivety, I carefully questioned many top farmers as we examined hundreds of flowers. How were avos being fertilized if an entire orchard was either male or female at one moment? So this is what we found when we went up close. These are the female flowers with the prominent styles clearly visible. And here you can see the male flowers where the stamens are now raised and almost obscure the styles completely. Insect activity continues regardless with the gatherers and the hunters. So what do we do with all this information? Like I mentioned, I was excited about having discovered a huge opportunity for Avo farmers to increase quality and quantity by interplanting A and B type cultivars, so that you could make sure that you had both male and female flowers at any one time. But it seems like that isn't the breakthrough I thought it was. As with most things in life, it's just not that simple or that complicated. About 30 years ago, interplanting was a thing, based off what we've just covered, but it proved to make little difference to quantity or quality. Instead, it added to management challenges by having varying needs and timing in one block, and so interplanting became less of a focus in favor of other issues that had a greater impact. That being said, genetic diversity is still a key element of strength in nature, but perhaps the proximity of pure block orchards to another pure block orchard is enough to bring that through. The bottom line is that there are more pressing questions than these. That is, however nature is doing it, fertilization of avos is not a major industry concern, but at least you're now a better informed farmer than you were yesterday. Thank you for joining me on this micro view into Avo flowering. Be sure to catch the next edition of Byte-sized Info for a look at the macadamia flower. Remember that your brand or that of your favorite supplier could be a part of this platform by securing limited and valuable advertising space. Until next week, God bless.